All right. Well, before we get into too much of the business side of the equipment tonight, I told everybody that when I was going to be down this week, I was going to be visiting with Pastor Orlando. He's sitting here with me, and I just want to give him the mic for a quick minute, and then we'll jump back into the business. But for those of you who are new to the club, Pastor Orlando is the one heading up our Agua de Vida project in Venezuela. So if you could just give like a real quick um, maybe 1 minute on where Venezuela is from a country perspective with the water issue, and then what we're doing there to solve the issue.
Well, good night, everybody. The real situation is that we don't receive water from pipes, and not maybe from 60 days, and the water that we receive is very dirty and dark and full of bacteria, and we don't know what else. But right now, with this situation and the project in the community with Agua de Vida project, we are putting uh, drinking water the access to the community, and a lot of people are receiving this because, of course, they are consuming this very bad water and causing issues and illness and all that stuff in the skin and stomach and the childhood, and everybody is now happy because of the project Agua de Vida. So thank you very much.
Yeah. And then too, the church, right? I mean, growth in the church, growth in the Pan de Vida project, and then how that's opening up other opportunities all through Venezuela and South America, right?
Yes, of course. I believe that, of course, this is making a huge difference in the middle of this crisis, in the middle of the hard situations that all the Venezuelan people has. So that's what I believe, that all these kind of projects, it comes to bless many and to like I said, to make a huge difference in their life, because projects like Agua de Vida and projects like Pan de Vida not just offer employees or these basic needs, but also this argument that we are doing something different in the middle of this hardest crisis that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a really good point. Like, how many people now are employed in Venezuela? Maybe you talk about that for a second. What's the average monthly income for a Venezuelan today?
The average monthly income is just between $4 and $5, and I'm not speaking about hour. I'm speaking about month.
$4 and $5 a month.
Yeah, $4 and $5 a month. So everybody, is trying to survive and trying to do their best. Maybe through the entrepreneur business, or if they have somebody outside of the country that could send some offering or money to survive, because you can live with $4 and $5.
No, yeah. So is that where most of the funds are coming from? Is the expatriates, people who've left the country and are sending money back to Venezuela?
Exactly. It was a huge exodus in the last 4 or 5 years. Like 6 million of Venezuelans go out of the country, and they are everywhere in different countries around the world, and they are struggling in foreign countries and sending money, the much or little that they can to help the family that is still in Venezuela.
So, and just to clarify your position, you were actually in America when you felt you got called back to Venezuela to go back into this situation to help fix your home country, right?
Yes, of course. That's what we're doing there.
Yeah. Good thing you didn't know now or know then what you know now. But listen, what you're doing is important work, right? I mean, what you're doing for the region, what you're doing for the people, what you're doing, obviously is going to have generational impact. Oftentimes you see when times get rough, able-bodied young people end up leaving the country, leaving behind the most vulnerable, to kind of suffer through. And you took it on yourself to do it a different way. And for that, listen, I think that there's few people who can say that when the building's on fire, they run into it instead of run away from it. And that's what you're doing when your country is kind of falling into ruin. And so, look, we're honored and blessed to be a part of this project, and really want to throw our shoulder behind all this work that you're doing, and really are happy to be part of it. So appreciate it. I know we're at this conference, and I know they're setting the room on fire in the other room, spiritually. So I'm gonna let you jump back into that. But I appreciate you taking the time.
No,
and,
thank you.
And we'll do more of these, as time goes on, because I want to get more in depth and really show people what we're doing. Just, before you leave,
Mhm.
I always do the Columbo close. It's my father's, ministry. One more thing before I let you go. On the how many people now are getting bread and water on a daily basis?
Oh, we're serving water for this community that we have maybe 2,000 persons in this community around the church
Yeah.
in Cabimas, and we also have like 3,000 persons around the Vida Abundante entre las Aguas in Margarita Island in the Caribbean.
Yep.
When we had Pan de Vida, Bread of Life, and we are doing this with the huge difference. That's what I want to say to close. And you are an answer of God in these days for many people that that are struggling with very hard situation. But all this different that we are doing, of course, your sponsor this project is an unbelievable answer from God to our life. So thank you very much, because there is a thousand and thousand people that you don't know but are being blessing for you, and they are praying, and they're believing in God, because maybe we are right now the only Bible that they read, and the only God that they meet. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor. Let you get
okay. Thank you, Bo.
Yeah. See you here in a bit. All right. Well, everybody, I know that's a little off course for our normal AMA, but when you get next to somebody like that and you're doing that kind of work, I think it's important to showcase the charitable things that we're doing on top of some of the business things that we'll be getting into here in a moment. But stark difference, when you're only making $4 or $5 a month, and things don't cost dramatically different in Venezuela. So you can do the math on what that comes out to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome that you got to be down there with him. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, and we have a whole lot more going on. We have the project in Ghana. We've got more projects coming up as well. So again, like the whole point of the club is that we have a purpose that's above and beyond just the crypto lifestyle, which of course is what we aim to provide. So I think that sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that fact. But already helping people, and we will continue to. I really want to get into the Guatemala project, and a couple of the others that even some of our club members have suggested too. So that'll be on the horizon as well.
Yeah. All right. So switching gears then on the business side, what do we want to do now? Do we want to bring on Mario and talk about that, or do you want to just do a general once over and then get to Mario after the general?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let Mario start off with the new promo for USHX, and he'll talk a little bit about what that's going to look like here in the very near future. It's pretty exciting, and we'll be rolling out more details of it. He's just going to talk about it on the 50,000 foot level here, but more details will follow over the next couple of days. So why don't we, if Mario's ready, then we can just let him kind of get into that briefly.
Mario, can you unmute yourself without going on video, or can I unmute you?
You'll have to.
Let me do that. I just unmuted you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I could hear you sweating from this side of the phone.
Never sweating, man. Never sweating. But good evening, everybody. I haven't been on here for a while, so I hope everybody's been doing well. Major thing that we're trying to do is really show the utility of what we're doing. So since we're U.S. Housing Exchange, we're going to be doing some giveaways of some houses. And you heard that correct, houses. And so we're going to be announcing some contests as far as how we're going to be gearing up to not only be giving away houses, but we're also creating our own social media. So think of like an MLS, but think of you also being able to give statuses and allow you to connect with the people who are going to be the buyers, sellers, investors like yourself, and you're going to be able to stake these tokens. But we got some exciting things that we're going to be doing. We've given away a house. The first one that we're doing sits on a golf course, and we'll give a lot more details as far as where that's concerned. And the biggest thing that we're going to be trying to show folks is that when you've invested in these tokens, you will be able to stake these tokens in actual real estate deals and be able to make percentages on the back end, just like if you were going to flip a property. So think of these tokens like going to the casino, cash, and be able to think of the roulette where you're putting your chips all over the place, thinking about getting a number, but you're going to win every single time because you're going to be partnered with us on our deals and everything. So we really want to get this thing to the next level. So we appreciate everybody who's bought USHX so far, but we're going to be trying to go bigger, better, and better. So we look forward to, when are we doing this, on Friday? Announce the contest details.
Yeah, we'll have all the rules up before the end of the week. So yeah, on Friday we'll be back on and we'll go over how you can win it. Like you said, the first house is going to be on a golf course in Houston, or in the Houston, just north of Houston. And
it's probably like 10 minutes from the airport, in the George Bush International Airport. So if you want it, I couldn't think of a better Airbnb that you possibly can get, if it's something that you can get a free and clear house that you could be able to not only get the equity out, but you still will be able to cash flow.
Yeah. So, again, whether it's Airbnb or whether you want a house free and clear, or, what, I mean, the cool thing about, Mario's slogan and background is, he wants to be able to say, fire your landlord. And the thing I love about this even more is you get to fire your landlord and your bank. So the house is coming over free and clear. And if you choose that you want to participate in the project, but you don't necessarily want to deal with the house, we'll talk about what we can do, from another perspective. If you just want the cash and you want to push hard on the project, we can figure out some things there, or tokens, or any number of things that that we can break out from there. All right, Mario, I appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you, guys.
We'll get into more of that on Friday, and I think as we go forward, we'll be seeing more similar to the AWRT landing page for the U.S. Housing Exchange token, and it'll have its own Discord and other things. So as more houses come up, more properties, more deals, etc., they'll be able to do that one-on-one with you guys. I mean, certainly, it's got the experience and background and everything in the real estate to be able to carry that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you mute? I think Mario's still on.
Yeah, I got it. No, he muted.
You got it?
You got it.
All right, cool. So that's a great way to fire your landlord. And I love the part about firing your bank, because anybody who spends any time talking to me knows that that's the whole purpose here. Everything we're doing is about getting away from the central banks and about getting into decentralized finance in a real way. So anyway, that is only just the beginning. So as we add, USHX, in this first house, there'll be, we're actually targeting, I believe, Bo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're targeting, after the first successful giveaway, we're looking at one a month. And we're looking at the USHX tokens being a real central part in the utility of that, of those chances, to earn those homes.
Well, what Mario's doing has national scope, so you might say, well, I'd be interested, but I'm not real interested in having a house in Houston, or you may be into real estate and you might love the idea of having a house in Houston. But because he's got national scope, it's U.S. Housing Exchange. If there's some interest, send over, hey, is there anything coming up in my area or in my state or what have you? It's a great way to kind of allow him to reverse engineer the process. So. Yeah,
that's awesome. And I do know we do have some members who are looking to buy houses in out in the West Coast and the Northwest and and so forth. So, and I know that I think Mario has something coming up in New Jersey. So there's going to be
Atlanta too. Yeah, New Jersey, Atlanta, Texas. So that's what I mean. There's national scope here. So. So it's
gonna get real exciting Yeah, it's gonna get real exciting real fast, because again, we can make some dreams come true right here, in the U.S. too. I mean, while we're helping people overseas, which is super important, there's huge opportunities to help people here, as well, and a little bit of the American dream while it's here. And the other side of that is too, this represents USHX spinning out on its own, going into the next levels, and then getting onto its own exchanges. So, that's all part of it. So as that social media builds out here over the next few days, sign up for it, and support it, and then let's push these things to the next level here as we're getting ready for our new rewards that'll be coming out for our AWB holders. That's the next thing. Of course, we have HQ Express coming out, which I'm telling you is going to blow the doors off of WeWork, long term. And then we have Velocity Auto Concierge, for the peer-to-peer rental of the Lambos and Ferraris and so forth. So, and some of the more boring BMWs and Mercedes. Anyway, did we have any particular questions, Bo, that we wanted to get into?
Little Rick threw in there that he'd like us to do one on Long Island. Do you know me? I'm always pushing to do one in the Hamptons. I think, that's fire your country, type of money if you do the right one. So, I think I mentioned on the last one, I got a notice that the house that my father built 20 years ago sold for 118.5 million. So I think we could give that one away. We'd really be doing something.
Yeah, no question about it. And those houses are beautiful, by the way. We should NFT the collection. Talk to those architects and stuff too, and show some of those. Those are beautiful. Yeah. Did anybody else have any questions? I know there's a bunch of things to go over, but before we bore everybody, we can answer some questions.
Nothing going on right now on the question side, so I'd say let's get to the ambient.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got a lot going on. We've got the new opportunities in NFT and Metaverse that are going to be announced here over the next week, where we'll be able to start to lock down properties in our own active world. Mad Hatter Metaverse. So the explanation for the Metaverse work and so forth, and the whole platform is going to be coming out. So keep an eye on that, and then you'll get to see some of the development releases. As far as maps and where you can stake land and so forth. And then we're going to get deep into the purpose. Because again, everything that we're doing, has a real purpose, and this in particular does. So we're excited to roll that out. So I think in the next couple of days you'll see that. Was there anything else on Metaverse that we wanted to talk about? I mean, people have seen the initial rendering of the clubhouse, I think, right?
Yeah, we put that up last week. So if you haven't, maybe. If you haven't, just raise your hand, I guess, in the question section, and we'll throw it back up there. But I would imagine most people have seen it through either the Discord or Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Yeah, cool. Okay. That's getting, obviously the development on that continues, and it's going to be really cool when it's all said and done, so that we've got a place that we can virtually meet together, screen movies, because as you know, we're doing a lot of different movie and music deals, and we'll be able to take a look at some of the NFTs and memorabilia and stuff like that, inside the clubhouse, and make it interactive. Of course, all this stuff can overlay into multiple metaverses as well. Right now, we're building in Unity, and we're looking at everything from Overland to Sandbox, and some other more fringe builds in that front. So
well, that goes right into KG's question. Are we looking to get in on this next auction in Sandbox? So
we always are, and we're also negotiating with people too. So we've got some people that we're negotiating with, and we've got you know, we're continually on the look to be able to get a full estate there, and that's something that's definitely on our agenda. So we will be at the auction. The last auction, as you know, didn't go so well. I think we were we were high bidder for a long time, and then, you know, I think somebody trounced us by like 150 grand or something like that. So, and we couldn't spend all day or all the money. So we had other things to do. So,
Well,
you know,
we've also got a little bit of interesting feedback on that, right, from some other developers. You know, one of the things that we might be doing, you know, is really even doing an overlay in our own monoverse that will then allow us to. All the developers will hate me for saying this, but as my brain understands it, like copy and paste that, you know, into metaverse of our liking. So, and
yeah,
I
well,
know
you're making it sound too simple. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Functionally, I'm sure it's a lot more steps, but as
Yeah.
I understand it, it's Control C, Control V.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, again, that has to do with us building, us doing our thing, and then, you know, and then plugging that into other projects like Sandbox and stuff. But, you know, that being said, we do have, like, in our own metaverse build, we have, you know, we have an eye toward, you know, gaming and different things you'll be able to do in the environment, on top of just our purpose, right? So, so there's a lot of stuff we can do, and it's actually turning out pretty cool. We've got a great set of designers and people involved that are, you know, pretty top notch, and, you know, I think it's working out well. So all that's going great.
Yeah. So again, we're not a ton coming in yet. So let's say keep going.
So the other thing that we're working on here now, which is important, is scrap. So the scrap token is going to be essentially the AWBTE will be merging dollar for dollar into scrap. So the only survivor will be the scrap token, and it'll go essentially with the same benefits. Except what you'll be able to do is actually spend the scrap tokens to buy gold, silver, and palladium in the amounts that were still described in AWBT. The only difference here is that instead of $460 a token, you'll be starting with a whole lot more tokens at that quad 1 level, or wherever scrap came out. So it'll be done at the launch price. And that's how that merge is going to happen. So we'll let everybody know how that goes down over the next couple days. But the important thing here is that we just, you know, we had so many people that wanted us to get off of the $460 a token. Can you mute that, Bo?
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So we had so many people who were interested in buying it at a lower price, but still being able to convert it into physical gold and silver and palladium. So now what this functionally allows us to do is you can either choose the basket when you're doing that conversion, or you can choose the individual metals as well. And all of these represent, of course, you know, when you're buying the scrap token, you're actually recycling and keeping product out of the landfill, and all of these things represent refined metals at 999. So it should be, you know, it should be a pretty exciting time, and then that's going to be heavily marketed because, you know, again, it's a core product of ours. It's it's an anti-inflation product, and it is a you know, it's a hedge to the you know, to the value of the dollar. So when you buy it,
and in addition to that, right? I mean, you know, it becomes kind of like a three-legged stool in a way, you know. And this will speak to the when marketing question, because you have a recycling element, you know, to it that you're keeping, you know. I forget what it is. I know MK Ultra looked into a couple of the stats this week on how much like saving a motherboard saves in like carbon and all that. So you tie the recycling to the gold to the crypto, and I think you've got a really interesting story because Elon, what was it, about 6 months ago, did a good job letting everybody know how much energy crypto takes. So if you take this and say, well, actually, this crypto, is actually carbon ahead. Is I think is a really interesting story.
Well, we're doing a lot of research on carbon credits as well, and we'd love to tie, the token to carbon credits. So we're reviewing all of the different opportunities there. It's a little bit of a murky landscape, but we will get back to you on that. I expect that will be something that will be also available inside this transaction at some time in the future. But for now, it's certainly one, you get to detach from fiat currency and convert directly into metals. But two, this thing legitimately recycles. So you're doing good for the environment as you're doing it. So it's a great product. And it's actually one of the things that we're most excited about. As you could tell, I mean, we talk about it a lot. As we were trying to figure out AWBTE, we haven't been really pushing hard because we knew this was coming. And you should be excited about it because this thing is one of these tokens that will be out on its own. It's something that's going to be heavily promoted, and it's going to be something that's really good for everybody who gets involved with it. So we're excited about it. That one is like you said, it is a three-legged stool.
Yeah, and I mean, again, because of that, it checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And a lot of people who both the recycling and gold side, I think it's going to be attractive to a lot of people who maybe would typically be outside the crypto atmosphere, more traditional type of investors, people who might be interested in participating in that thing. I think are going to have maybe a slightly different profile than some of the other folks. But Papa J, can we trade our BEP tokens for the scrap tokens
Yep, absolutely. So all of them everything's merging into the scrap token, and we'll explain how all that's happening. Over the next, it'll be this week that we get that out there for you, and then we also have a new website, which is I think almost done. Just the back end of it is. I think there's a little bit of interactive, piece, that's being done for it that we're waiting on, but it's almost completed. And then you'll be able to actually recycle as well. So, if you have old cell phones and laptops or of a warehouse that's closing down or
or if you want to start a drive or do something, I mean, we can work together with charities and that, right? I mean,
absolutely. It's a great way to raise money for charity, because everybody has old cell phones. And those are good ones. They've got decent boards for recovery. And then, old servers. And of course, when you see businesses going out of business or anything like that, we can always acquire those closeout assets. So lots of ways to earn as club members for, doing referrals too there.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I mean, you hit on the website. Were you talking about on the refining side, or you're talking about on the AWC side?
Both. Yeah, so we have both coming. We have a rebuild, a total rebuild of the club website coming, and people are talking about marketing. So we've got a lot of things going on, right? As you can tell. On top of the first build of the HQ Express 200,000 square foot warehouse rehab, which goes on a daily basis, and we'll explain all of that as we get deeper into this. And of course that's also overlaid with Overland, so it ties back to geolocated product being able to use industrial flex space inside of a metaverse based platform, which is Overland. And so we'll explain how that whole build is going, and and so forth. But there's just a ton of stuff that we've been waiting for, kind of the optics to look right before we dump money into just arbitrary marketing, because we don't want to send, like, it's one thing for our club members who are actually helping us build all this stuff, to look at something and say, hey, I understand that this is in beta and we're all testing it out. Well, when we bring in 1,000 new people, they're not going to probably be as forgiving, right? So we get it. We know what we're all doing, what we've been doing for the last couple of months, and it's only been a couple of months. So I think we should point that out too. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that all this stuff is really tight and looks great. And so for all of you who love the AWRT design, we've got the full-time team now working on the entire build out for us of the new forward-looking or public facing portions of the club website, of the refining company website, of
And then
just
each
goes on.
token, right?
And then
Each
each
token,
token.
landing page and white paper, etc.
Yep, exactly. So you're in the infancy of this launch, the very, very, very beginning. So even though you see AWRT going off on Uniswap now, and it's going to be on the Emirex, and we've got another new exchange that we'll be announcing as well. We're just waiting for EtherScan to get done with a couple things. And I have no idea what takes so long, but anyway, that's all brand new, and and so we do have a strategy for that, and that strategy involves kind of more of our traditional background, which is introducing and bringing in family offices and true trading funds, and we have two, I believe, of the first few that we're bringing into the mix that have just started to get involved, and test the waters and learn on our own exchange, and then play around with some of the opportunities on these other exchanges as well. So that stuff is all being introduced as we speak, and that's not obviously the broad promotional stuff that you would expect, I think, from a lot of different groups that are crypto centric. That's more direct investment and public market work, which we're used to. So we're going to build that base because it's a base that we can talk to at a professional investment or kind of as professional investor level, so that's being done now, and then once everything else is tight, then we'll go into the broader range advertising and getting some of these promoters and so forth if we see fit, because I don't love a lot of their tactics and a lot of the way that some of them operate. We have some engaged, and they're doing great, but some of their some of the others, I didn't love the conversations that we had. So but we'll do the right thing, and it'll turn out great, because this is as you talked to Pastor Orlando earlier, this is God's platform. I believe that, and we gave it to Providence long ago. So anyway, so we'll see what comes of it from that perspective, and we'll do what we know how to do from a powerful investment side of things, which is bring in family offices and real professional investors. That's the next step level of what we're doing.
Yeah. So part of that too is we listen. You guys said that you're thinking we should have separate social handles and stuff. So I think as of today, we've got the NFT Twitter handle up, although I'm not sure we've got anything on there yet. We're going to be doing the same thing for AWRT, and so we can kind of start to suss out the difference between the club itself and the individual tokens. I think maybe to your point, Alfonso, from a optics perspective, people look at it and think, you guys are doing everything from scrap to giving away houses, buying Lamborghinis. There's probably something for everybody in this club right now, but maybe people don't understand the whole depth and breadth of it. So to help with that, we're going to separate out some of the elements so that people who are interested, particularly in scrap recycling and keeping things out of landfills, they can go to that and get educated, do those things one at a time. To your point, people who are new may not necessarily have the same understanding or comfort level with every single aspect, but like one thing over another, and we don't want to stop somebody from getting involved because they maybe don't understand one thing over the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has to be clarified. So there's, and things have to be streamlined. So there's less clicks and less sign-ins and less, distraction as you navigate through the process. And we're adding more video, we're adding more explanations, that are simple to get to people. And we're also upgrading the affiliate, play as well. So we're in the process of all of that, so that becomes more intuitive and easier as well. So all that is being built as we speak. So everybody's engaged on that front, and it's building out. And quite frankly, it isn't something that is only because of the marketing. It's because that's just the natural progression of what we were going to do anyway. So as you know, that as these projects move up through the different incubation level, they solidify their core business. And then once that core business is solidified, then they can spin out on their own, as well. So that's the point. And so that's where USHX is moving forward with the house giveaways, real core utility for USHX tokens, and then they'll have their own Discord and their own media and their own marketing, and that's where Mario and his team, Todd and those guys can really shine, because that's where they can actually kind of put their stamp on it. We're obviously we're although we're involved from a investment standpoint, we're involved from a from a start getting started standpoint. Realistically, it's not going to get its legs until they've got their full lifeblood in it, because from our standpoint, it still has that VC type of tone. Once they get it, then it gets passion. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for him to take the reins and not wait for us to introduce AMAs, but for him to be able to launch his own and talk to the people who are strictly interested in homes, because there are a bunch of them. And we'll have the benefit of that, and the club will have the benefit of that, moving forward. And we'll always be able to be involved, but it's not, these things are meant to spin out. They're meant to go into the public sphere. And we may do it the same way that we did AWRT. It may go Uniswap first, and then AmirX, and then, but I do think that we'll use the same exchanges, as we go down and tick these boxes, and we'll probably use the same certifications and so forth as we get more and more familiar with the process here for AWRT. I'm more and more comfortable with the feedback and so forth as we move forward. So,
yeah, well, that's a good question just came in. What's the 30% code for scrap right
now? Oh, that's a good question. Well, hopefully .net is listening and they'll post that up. We've been that's part of the problem too. We've been so busy with building the tech, and in particular, we've been really focused on the NFTs and the staking, because so much of the future of everything we're doing is involves NFT work and staking. So the new admin is looking great for being able to see what you're earning, what you've staked, and what you can expect, month to month and at the end, of the period. So we've been focused on that, and we forgot to go out and promote, hey, buy some of these tokens. That, and the same time, we're also explaining, and we'll come out with the mini site for scrap that explains the the conversions into metals. But it'll be roughly the same mathematics. It'll just be a micro levels, so it's so that you can actually not have to spend $460 per token. That was the concern, that so much feedback was, how can I buy this? I can't afford, buy 3 tokens, but I really, I'd really
Yeah, we
like
want
to
like the Berkshire Hathaway model of crypto, $3,000 a share. Okay, so there was an earlier question I didn't mean to skip over, but I did. Okay, will the AWBT Christmas special still be at OT4 to start?
So yeah, so we will we'll explain all of that. Look for it tomorrow. We'll put it all on I guess a blog to start. That's generally how we communicate, and then we'll get it over to the web designers to actually get it onto the site so everybody knows where that stuff's at. But yeah, it's if whatever the original things, essentially whatever the original promotions were that you're waiting, to be able to execute, all that will be honored for sure. And it'll be honored at basically what'll amount to the same math. You'll just have that much more scrap.
So I know on the BTE, the original idea was you could get to a certain size of the holding and then choose to take that in actual metal. Is that still going to be the same case for scrap going forward?
Yeah, and we'll also have new staking opportunities as well, whereby you can earn into that by staking. So if you don't have enough to make those levels, there'll be staking opportunities, and there'll also be ways to participate in different projects using NFTs. So all that's going to be explained, and it all comes down to pairing, but you'll be able to trade the scrap tokens in for refined metals directly on that site.
Yeah, that's awesome. The little Rick, I got to get better at interpreting gifs or memes or whatever. There's a little old lady flossing. I suppose that means he's excited about it. Not a question, though. Not a question. Looks like maybe there's a couple different questions being typed, but nothing in yet. So
I'm excited about scrap. So if you can't tell, and the name of the token's awesome. The branding around it is going to be awesome, and we've got people who have contracts with major players across the country, who we're talking to about wrapping up a deal, and that's a more on the business transaction side, but also being able to be their crypto partner, and if we can pull that off, I mean, these are some of the who's who and the history of scrap metal. So it'd be pretty cool, and also some of the who's who in the history of tech. So pretty exciting. So you're going to want some of that, some scrap, and the actual reward there is something that you're probably going to want to hold on to here for the next couple months and just let it ride, because I'm telling you, that's the one piece of what we're doing directly that I'm really excited about. So.
All right. So if there's no other question, as you can hear, I had to step outside from the conference. So I've got if I'm right in the flyway and a raceway right next to me. So let me see. Tokenomics for scrap, 2% holder, 2% recycling, 1% liquidity. That's a question.
We'll put all that's going to be on the site. And again, so all this stuff gets cleared up as well. There'll be microsites for each token until they launch out on their own, and then we'll go from there. But that'll explain. It'll be basically like a smaller version of the AWRT site, but within our club. And I think we're a couple of weeks away from from the new club look. So that'll all come together. But tomorrow we'll put a blog out with all of the math for scrap, and then we'll start the process of the of that merge. So the sad part is we won't see the AWBTE token logo anymore. It'll just be replaced with scrap, and so forth. So, but
Scrap's a tad more dynamic anyway. You know, that platinum color doesn't always translate on the from a marketing perspective.
yeah, but
you know,
it looks really good on the side of a Lamborghini, like on a black Lamborghini with the red.
shit.
Yeah. So
Anyway, well, we'll figure that out.
so if the people doing the stickers for the Lambo are on the call,
Yeah,
you can go ahead and scrub that one, because it's just going to be the scrap token. So
you can scrap BTE.
yeah.
Pun intended for all of my stand-up fans out there.
Oh man,
Johnny,
you had to do it.
well, I always have to. Johnny, which I'm again a little slow on the uptake. Just now getting that's Keanu Reeves' character. Thank you, Justin. Some of us have expressed concern about the AWRT contract because it doesn't have bot protection and low liquidity. What's being done to address this?
What's being done to protect bot or to protect against the pre-running bots? Is that the question? I guess that's so. Done to address it. I guess I would say I don't know relative to the main thing I think to remember is that we don't have to add bot protection until we have really a formal launch with major liquidity, because then it becomes lucrative for these people to try to attack and game us, and then we can use the standard. Really, even though we're on the Uniswap exchange churn a little bit, but we know what the underlying value that's being created is, and the real core on the street assets are for what we're building, so we don't have to worry so much about the promotional side of things. I think that the value is being built on a daily basis. I mean, we've got real locations and real warehouses and real business,
Real gold, real silver, real
gold, and real silver, and so it's like if a bot's going to jump in and try to, it's not exactly like trying to run a meme coin, I think, and it would be interesting to play with those bots, but anyway, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, we don't need it right now, and but when we get to, we are in constant communication with the guys at the exchanges, at the centralized exchanges. So we'll talk to their techs about that and just see what they recommend. If they think we need some type of protection, I'm sure that they'll recommend it. So, and like I said, we have another exchange, that we probably will wind up going on, either right after Mirex or at the same time. So we've got another announcement coming up that we're working on, and I'm hoping that now finally when Etherscan gets done with their piece of whatever the heck it is we're waiting for here for it to populate, then we'll wrap up with TechRate's review of the new contract.
The latest contract, yeah.
Yeah. So that I'm expecting in the next couple days. So.
Scrap is going public. Sorry if I missed that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it will. Yep, it will. We just have to get it. Like it'll be incubated, for a while, and then we'll explain how that'll work. But that's in the future for sure. Yeah.
All right, hang on. That's a great question, Kruger. We had talked about that. Unfortunately, that had gotten delayed. Due to the passing that you've been through recently. But when is the burn party for the 100 billion?
Yeah, that did get delayed. I was going to do it last Friday, but now and this Friday is my father-in-law's funeral. So I think what we'll try to do is we'll aim for it will probably be good timing to aim for the following Friday. I think going into a weekend is the way to do it, and we've got a lot of stuff going on for AWRT that I think people will be excited about, and other giveaways and contests. So let's put it in the books for the following Friday, and we'll start to promote it too, because again, that's a huge deal. So as again, and I'm going to get back into pricing, and I'm not going to talk about it again. But we're not worried about where things are bouncing around right now at all. Not even a little tiny bit. So, and when things drop this low and people are willing to shake out, so to speak, then that's fine with us. And it's better, like, for example, that someone sell out of AWB at 60 cents than at $5,
Hey, listen, if you're a seller at any price, I'd rather have you out at 5 cents than at $1.
Well, this is the whole point of cost
that's the old
basis.
trader part of, there's two sides to that conversation.
Yeah. So, but my point here is, what I was getting at is that those types of events are catalytic, and they enable, and they basically jumpstart a bunch of.
Lost you right at
the last one. We were able to. Yeah.
Lost you right in the middle there. Right. It sounded like right when you were making some of your best points.
Which that's to be determined. But yeah. But the point is, with the last one, we were able to facilitate this 100 billion token burn, right? So, and we got tokens back into, back into the kitty, and that's a huge benefit to your overall valuation. Even though you don't see it in the open market yet, you will. And of course, we know where these costs, we mentioned before, as we go up through these discounts, we know where the cost basis is, has been created. And so, we get to see where that pressure is. And, and these things do dip into, into cost basis, at some point to start. And, and then we shake out the people who don't have the stomach, for a long-term play. And,
to be fair,
off to the races.
And this is, a lot of the back and forth, in the chat and stuff too. I mean, different people have different investment strategies. They have different, investment horizons. People's circumstances change. Understand all of that, so, and it's not,
absolutely.
These
that's
things
the whole
happen,
point of that's
so
why we built it. That's why we built the exchange. If we didn't want you to be able to sell it, we wouldn't have built it. Yeah. And we want people to be able to, to meet in those markets, and, and actually trade it back and forth and have a discussion and say, yeah, I want it, or I'll give you, hey man, I'll pay you half, whatever. And that's the whole point of the peer-to-peer, play, and whole point of being in a club. So, I mean, enjoy it. It's, you know, it's fun too, you know, at the same time. So there is a little bit of me that, you know, is kind of smirking about, you know, thinking about $5 AWB though for the guys who sold it at 60 cents. But that's just my that's the yeah.
Well, you know, we've already come out with the Mad Hatter, and we've got the White Rabbit. We'll do the Cheshire Cat smile at 5. You know, that'll be the NFT, the $5 NFT. So,
All right, bet, put it down.
Looks like a couple people are typing back and forth. All right, Kruger. For the rankings and NFTs, are you coming out with? Can we use third-party wallet to hold it in, or does it have to stay on the club exchange? That is a good question.
Yeah, I think that we can, as long as it is, and I've got what we ought to do too so we're going to have the scrap explanation tomorrow, but we ought to also put the all the competitions up so everybody knows how they can win these things, Bo. Because there's a bunch of things to win. I mean, I don't even think that we've got a ranking yet for people contributing for the Satama giveaway or anything else.
You know, I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you if it was, you know, if we had the leaderboard and what the best way to do that with. I know that probably not everybody wants their name, you know, in lights, but maybe we rank it by, you know, we'll have to come up with some kind of system that says, yeah, this is where everybody stands.
Yeah. So we'll get into that too. So why don't we tomorrow also include a, you know, kind of like a competitions, you know, type of update. And we'll explain how everybody can win each one of those things. And I think it's okay to have it in third-party exchanges or third-party wallets. Last I checked, but I'll double check.
All right. Well, I think we just hit the hour mark. So I don't
Sounds
know
good.
if we are going to be doing another one of these on Friday or no because of the funeral.
No, this Friday is no good for me, obviously. But I'm certainly listen. It doesn't. Not everything revolves around me. This is you know, this is a club for a reason, right? So if Mario and Ken want to get on Friday and do a more detailed explanation of Give Bucks and the USHX program, that would make sense if you want to do it. You know,
you can bet Mario is ready. You know, I think
yeah.
a couple weeks ago he said he's got his mouthpiece in. I guess Mario, get your helmet on because we'll take a run at it on Friday and go over everything and then hopefully get that kicked off too. So you know we'll have, like you'd mentioned earlier, Alfonso, we'll have just a whole series of competitions and things coming out that really give people what I think is a pretty unique set of things. You know, between the Saitama giveaway, you know, let's call it a nearly $300,000, you know, house, you know, a couple other big ticket items, you know, coming off one after another. You know, I think all told, we're getting pretty close to $1 million worth of real estate that's going to be coming out in the next couple months. You know, which is
and not only that, but
big.
you know, bear in mind too, like our club has paid affiliates hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, to date, and we've only been around for a couple of months. I mean, this time next year we'll be talking about having, you know, paid affiliates millions of dollars. So, you know, I think you know the most exciting times are yet to come. So
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, good night.
all right, good night. Hey, good luck down there, Bo. I'll see you when you get up here.
All right, sounds good. Bye now.
See you.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Hey guys.